Oi gente, muitos de vocês estão perguntando para mim para falar mais sobre homeschooling. Então, na verdade, eu vou falar em inglês sobre este subjetivo com legendas embaixo, porque eu quero falar muito claro com vocês, tá bom? This is Mueller's gibbon. It's a big primate. And we're gonna put it in Borneo. I'm gonna give you some hints to find Borneo, okay guys? There is so much I can say about homeschooling. I think the biggest thing for me is I believe in good education. As a mother, as a teacher, as somebody who has studied education for many years, I believe in good education, and I have found homeschooling to be an excellent form of education. I don't want to say it's the only great form of education because there are excellent schools and there are excellent teachers out there, and I want to be very clear about that. But I do believe that homeschooling is also a really beautiful educational option, and the more we know about it, the more we can make an informed choice for our family if it's a good choice for us or not. This island is close to Australia.
Okay, so it's over here.
Australia is, let's see, this is Australia, this is Asia, Europe. Because this is my first video talking about homeschooling, there are just a couple things I want to just share in this video, and then I can share more and clarify more later as you guys ask more questions. First, it's really important to understand here in the USA, homeschooling is legally permitted. Different states have different regulations for it. I can talk more about that in another video, but it is a legal option for parents to choose. And so this is something that here in the USA, I am fully supported in doing by the government and the powers that make these decisions. I know things are different in Brazil, so I cannot talk about what it's like in Brazil, but I do know it is a growing movement there, and there are excellent resources in Brazil, and I would like to share some of those with you guys as well. They can answer questions that I cannot. But as far as the education part, what happens in the home, I can talk a lot about that. I was a school teacher for a decade. I taught college classes to teachers on how to be a better teacher in the classroom. And now I am teaching my own children at home. I never thought I was going to do this. I never thought I was going to do this. But when my son was born, it just was on my heart. Like, I love him so much and I want him to have the best education, and I want to be a part of that education. And I started to see many other families who were doing an excellent job homeschooling their children. And so I watched and I learned, and Paulo and I talked about it and we prayed about it, and we felt it was the best calling for our family to go this route. Yeah, that's right, that's Australia. It starts with an A, and Borneo is an island that's very close to there, a little bit north, and it has the letters there. So if we see Borneo, Borneo, what letter does it start with?
B.
B. So do you guys see an island that starts with a B?
Oh, Borneo.
That's right. And then Gabby, can you put our sticker there for today? That is a Mueller's gibbon. And it is a type of primate that you would find in that area. Very good, thank you, sweetheart. One of my favorite things to share about homeschooling is that how it is radically different than educating your child in a classroom. And a lot of people, when they hear that we homeschool, they're like, I'm not a teacher, I can't do that. I don't have the ability to teach in that way. I am a teacher, and I've had to learn to be a homeschooling mother, a mother who teaches instead of a teacher in a classroom. I believe all parents can be great home educators if they are willing to go and to be teachable themselves, and to seek after resources and to learn how to be great educators. I think it is something that does take intentionality, it takes discipline, but it is so full of joy. It is so full of just delight together as a family. Our homeschool day, my son is 6 years old. He just turned 6 years old. And so our homeschool day is very short. My daughter is 3. And I am not somebody who does practice education in the early years of life. I believe in playing and letting them be, and then doing academics as they get older. My daughter, she loves the academic part with her brother, and she comes along for the ride. She doesn't have to do it, but because she wants to be there, we give her the option to do it, and she's having so much fun with it. My son, that would not have been a good fit for him. So we waited till he was about 5.5 before we started formally educating him. Now, within just a few months, he's reading. He has always been really great with numbers, but he is doing incredibly complex math thoughts and processes in his head, and he's just really flourishing. We waited for the right time, and the space to learn is really positive and welcoming. One thing that my husband is really impressed about is how we don't have to be in a classroom to learn. This is our house here at this part of our trip. If you've been following us, you know that we've been in 10 different houses in the last 3 months. Each house, I take a space and I turn it into our school space. Sometimes that's the same table we eat dinner on, and we just switch things out multiple times a day. This house happens to have an extra room with a table in it, so we have an entire school space here ready for us to use. We don't need this much space. We can do it completely with a dining table and a basket of supplies. It's not something that you need a bunch of space or a bunch of supplies to do. My favorite thing to do with the kids is sit on the couch and to read with them, to snuggle up under blankets. My husband was talking to his mom in Brazil, and he was just like, it's so beautiful. Andre can read. And he learned to read snuggled under a blanket with his mommy on the couch. That to me is the beauty of homeschooling. Since I do live here in the USA, the supplies that I teach in are here. If you live in the USA, you have access to the same supplies. They are in English. However, in Brazil, the way you guys go through the different steps and phases, it's different in the educational system there in Brazil. And so there are other supplies that are there for you. I cannot speak to those supplies or those materials, but I do know that there are some great resources that are out there, and I have some friends that I follow here on Instagram that have access to those resources, and I'm sure that they would love to help point you in the right direction if you have questions for that. One thing I do want to share about is, in this video today, is that I am so thankful that because we homeschool, we are able to shorten down the intentional academic portion. We do about 45 minutes to an hour a day. And the rest of everything that we learn is just through our normal everyday life. So for example, today we did school. We did some reading practice. We did some science today. And we did those things, and I didn't do math today. But I know today we're gonna be baking, and I know my children will be helping me measure, counting scoops, and doing all those things. They will be using real life math. So I'm not concerned that we didn't do math formally today, because I know in real life we're going to be doing math. And so that is so much more valuable than just sitting down and doing a worksheet of math. However, we do math formally a couple times a week to make sure we're covering all the skills that are important to know and to grow onto the next level. So there's a really great balance we can find with real life learning, but also practicing the skills of doing the assignments and sitting down and doing the work without overwhelming the children. And that's something that I've just found is so wonderful in this process. But ultimately, my favorite reason that we homeschool is because we get to spend time together as a family. I don't foresee my page becoming something that is primarily for homeschooling families, because I want to be connected to all families, no matter what their situation is. I want to just walk alongside families that are seeking curiosity and joy and wonder in their lives, no matter what that looks like. But I do also want to answer questions about homeschooling and walk alongside homeschooling families, because it's something that is a part of our family culture, and it's a beautiful part of it. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions. Abrazos! Ciao!